my name is Bedoza, and today, because of the announcement that this week there are going to be nerfs, I have created a list that shows what card should be nerfed and what I think will be nerfed and to what extent will it be nerfed. Also, I really wanted to mention one card that I really want to be buffed. So let's go into these cards. And first up, it's got to be Dragon's Back. 5 mana, 2 5/6s with Taunt. It could be on turn 6, it's still insane. The best card, one of the best cards, the most used card in the game, cannot get rid of this card. And that card is considered meta breaking. Almost every deck runs it. This card, even by itself, is pretty good. Even without the effect, because it's basically without the overload, the spell that gives you the same thing. So, the question is, how should Blizzard nerf this card? Well, this card actually doesn't give you any drawback for you not invoking, which is a shame because I think it should at least in some form do it. Because Scion of Ruin is a very bad card when not played. That 5/4 is also a very bad card. This card is basically another version of another card. And also this card is the best out of any of those. Scion of Ruin, yeah, it's a 9/6, but it's not a 12. It's actually insanely powerful. Now, the nerf I would propose is two things. Bump it up to 6 mana and make it only +2/+2. Because then you have 8/10 worth of stats for a 6 mana. And that's very good, I think. Serenite Changing is basically 4 mana for a 6 in stats. And that's pretty good. This card is even better if you don't invoke. It's worse. So I think this card should be nerfed to 6 mana and make it, if you invoked twice, give the Spirit Wolves +2/+2. That's my opinion on the nerf. You can have yours. But I think this is the best to make it at least playable, but not put in every Galakrond deck. Bet you didn't expect a road card to appear on this list, but it is here. The most powerful card in this expansion after Dragon's Back and after Faceless Corruptor. Nectrium Apothecary. 4 mana, 2/5, combo, draw a Death Rattle minion from your deck. With these stats, it's still pretty good. Combo draw and gain its Death Rattle. Do you know how many good Death Rattles there are? This has made way for the best, in my opinion, the best tempo deck, which is Tempo Death Rattle Rogue. And this card, if it gets bumped to 5 mana, it's going to be interesting if it will see play, or we could give it a Miscreant treatment by just lowering its health. But the Miscreant treatment won't work because Miscreant was actually fairly decent for it. Says nothing like insane powerful, but it was still too good for its effect. And here the stats don't really matter that much. So I think the mana cost is the only thing that can affect this, and it's going to be upped by 1. It's going to be a 5 mana card. And the most used card in this meta, Faceless Corruptor, used in I think almost every deck. It's more used than Ziliax, a card that has been used for like what? Boomsday, Rastakan, almost 4 expansions, non-stop. Ziliax was insanely powerful, and this card is a lot of times better than the Ziliax. Because when you get a 1/1 to transform into Faceless Corruptor, you get a 5 mana 9/7 with Rush. 9/7 with Rush. That's insane. So this card has to be nerfed. That's almost certain. How? Cost or stats? Even if you give it -1/-1, the card is still bonkers powerful. Again, example, you give it to a 1/1, it's a 5 mana 7/6 with Rush, which is still too powerful. Why? Because Rush is an insane keyword. I don't know what Blizzard was thinking when they basically said, Rush is, of course, Rush is a 0, almost like valued at around 1 mana. When? Why did you test this? This was about to be the best tempo card, a control card. This card is used in every deck almost. Seriously. It's actually insane. So, how should we nerf it? I'm going to go for both. I'm going to say that this either is going to be a 4 mana 2/3. No, that's too powerful still. I think it's going to be a 6 mana 4/3. That's, in my opinion, the best solution. Because 2/3 stats is too bad. And I think a -1/-1 and +1 in price will decrease this thing's playability, but it will still be pretty good. So yeah, 6 mana for free. Faceless Corruptor after nerfs. And another insane stat line, 7/5 with partial rush. As many people have pointed out, no class should have double invokes. Especially the class that can still double invoke with the quest. With the quest, you basically fully upgrade your Galakrant with 1 card. Other decks need 4. Let that sink in. So this card can either get nerfed in the Battlecry or in the cost. I think Blizzard really will not nerf the Battlecry, in my opinion, but will just higher the cost. And I think 2 mana, by 2 mana, it's going to be a 7 mana, 3/3 Battlecry, invoke, Galakrant twice. Now, there is one problem, it's Mutate. I won't talk about Mutate because it's a perfectly balanced card. But Mutate is a very large issue with high stat, low stat, high cost minions. Like the next card. And also this. Now that I think about it, Blizzard doesn't want to basically improve Mutate. But still, I don't think they are going to do like 4 mana 3/3 invoke. I don't think so. So this is going to be a 7 mana 3/3 Battlecry invoke twice. Bang. Another nerf. And now for the biggest cancer in this meta. Mogu Flesh Heaper. This card from Saviors of Uldum is Piranha Cancer. It's very high rolling, and that's the reason why Blizzard will nerf this. It's very unfun to be basically punished for having a board, and also if your opponent if you have a board, because if you mutate this into an 8-drop, the only bad one is basically high reek. That's like 1 in 10. You also get multiple 8/8s, an 8/8 with taunt, and also a 12/12. Very fun, very interactive, 12/12 on turn 4. This card is getting nerfed. Now, my favorite would be for Blizzard to basically make it when you play a minion, it stays at that cost. But I think Blizzard are not going to do that because they could have done it with Conjurer's Calling, and they didn't. If you don't know, Conjurer's Calling was nerfed by 1 mana because of a Mountain Giant combo. Mountain Giant cost 12, there were 2 minions that cost 12, Mountain Giant and Grave Horror. And that made basically Conjurer Calling one of the better decks. And it was unfun to play against. And it did high cost minions. Now Mutate is not going to get nerfed, it's a perfectly balanced card. This card should fall for its sins. Now, what is a good solution to this problem that is Mogu Flesh Heaper? A cost increase? Not by 1 mana because that's too easy. By 2 mana, you still open so many opportunities. What would be best in my opinion? Make it a 6? Yeah. 6 mana, 3/4. Rush cost 1 less for each enemy minion. By this, you lower the chance of high rolling with Mutate and also lower its playability. Because control decks don't have to worry about my opponent having a lot of minions and I'm going to get a 8-drop against me that is going to kill me. Yeah. 6 mana, same stat line, same keyword, cost 1 less for each enemy minion on your opponent's board. Yeah. And now let's get to the 2 last cards that I want to talk about. Galakron the Tempest. I brought up this card because this card is very discussed when nerfs are there. You are not going to nerf Galakron because of its flavor. It doubles, then it doubles. And it can summon 8 minions. So, it would be too confusing to new players. Yeah. You can also lower its cost, lower its weapon. You can only mess with its hero power. What I think though, this card doesn't deserve a nerf. Yeah, it's powerful, but other cornerstone cards are making Galakron basically the final piece of the puzzle. Yeah, its power is better. But in the Galakron department, I think one hero is worse. Has the worst design. I couldn't think of the word. And that's the buff part that I want to talk about, because it's incredible how much Blizzard has fucked up this card. So this card, but back to Galakron the Tempest, this card is not going to get nerfed. Period. The last card I want to talk about is Galakron the Unspeakable. This card needs to be buffed, because it's the worst of the Galakrons by a mile. It has the worst hero power that gives you bad minions. it was supposed to be give a random priest spell, which in my opinion is better than the bloody minions, because minions are often unusable because of their low stats. Quartz Elemental, for example, test subject. You need a specific deck for them to work. And destroy one random enemy minion 2 and 4. Also catastrophic. Why couldn't you just make it 2, 4, 8? It won't be confusing for new players, it just destroys every single minion on the board. So that would be the one buff, I suppose. And I think the hero power should be Discover. Something with Priest. Yeah, that's about it. That's going to be it for me, trying to predict what is going to be nerfed, what isn't going to be nerfed. And I'm going to see you guys in the next video. I hope to see you soon. Bye.